So about 3 or 4 years ago, I was looking for a flashlight that I could just carry. I didn't even know anything about EDC. I just thought I would carry a flashlight. And when I went to a gun show, I actually saw this for $30. So it's a Phoenix PD 110, and this is probably one of the brightest first flashlights that I've ever had. Of course, it takes a CR123 batteries, but I could not afford buying so many batteries because it was really expensive. So I use this very sparingly. So in conjunction to this, which was a little bit silly, I actually was carrying a mini mag light and use that more than this. So this is actually still looks pretty brand new. I would only put in my pocket if I only had 2 pockets. Usually my pants have about 6 pockets. What I didn't like about this is, although it sat pretty deep inside the pants, which was great, this clip would slip off. And then one time, I actually lost this flashlight. I went to an event. I was doing a photo gig, and I finally called. The place, and I said, "Hey, did you find this flashlight?" And they were a little bit reluctant on the phone to give this up because it was so bright, so little. So I went up there and I claimed it, and I said, "Hey, yeah, that's fine." But yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna give this to my wife and let her use it, even though I kept this for how many years. So this was my first one. Loved it. It was bright. It was small. Batteries was too expensive. The clip was deep, but it kept slipping off. I think this is more like a flashlight where you would probably have to use this, and you'd be fine. So let me put this aside. My second EDC flashlight that I was getting into is the Phoenix LD10, and I was on a Phoenix high for a while, even though I just had 2, because I thought that these were like the perfect beams, the perfect flashlight. As you can see, it's a little beat up, and sometimes what I did was I just took a Sharpie and I just colored over it just to make it look all black. But I figured, hey, it has some character when you don't try to make it look perfect. But this one was actually the perfect EDC that I had for a good 2 years. The pocket clip was somewhat deep, and it's a good pocket clip. Sometimes you could see here that it would slip, but that was okay. It uses a AA, so I was using just normal alkaline AA's. The only thing I didn't like about this was the reverse tail, the tail button. I didn't like the fact that you actually had to push it and then release it and then it turns on. Didn't really like that, but I got used to it. You can push it. Actually, this is in the other mode. So if you put it on high and it goes into strobe. Strobe was great. Loved it. So I was EDCing this, and then I started shopping again. I don't know why, but I started shopping for another flashlight because I didn't like this tail switch. I don't know. It was great. It can tail stand. It has a bezel. But anyway, I was on the quest for looking for another one, so I'll leave this right here. Still great little light. I was looking for something with more power, and then I better zoom out here. I got introduced by a friend to the 4.7s line, and with the 4.7s line, I was very impressed. I almost bought the single AA. This is the 2 AA, but the 1 AA. I didn't get it because it was only in the 105 lumen range. This Phoenix LD10, the highest output was 130. So 130, I was like, okay, I can live with that. But I was looking for something brighter, and I think that was the whole phase between looking for flashlights, you always want to look for something brighter, cheaper, and smallest. This is definitely not small, but it did have the power of 180. And what I did was I purchased another, more of a tactical switch here, so that I had momentary. And what was okay about it was you can go high, but when you went into strobe, it just goes between, and that's not bad. That's okay. I just wanted something that was more, just one power, and I could just keep it on that one power instead of going back and forth to strobe. Really like the moonlight mode here. And then the other modes, SOS I could do without, but it was good. Great great clip here. The only thing is I had this much sticking out of my pocket. Kind of bothered me a little bit, but I got used to it. I ended up switching this from my front pocket to one of my back pockets on the side. And since the pockets were kind of close together, it was still not an issue. But this always sat in my back pocket on my left side. So these two flashlights I was EDCing. Sometimes I would have both. This would be in my backpack. This would be in my pockets, or sometimes I would reverse it. Sometimes I would carry this, and then this would be in my backpack. What's great about it is it had AA, so I only carried I carried a spare set for this, and I carried a spare set for this times 2. So I always carried 4 extra AA batteries, which were great. And then I started watching more YouTube videos because for some reason I wasn't satisfied with either of these flashlights. For this tail cap I found here, I was like, great, hey, the tail switch is great. But then it kept on going. In between this, the strobe mode and the high mode. This one did the same thing. High mode, strobe. I was living with it, but of course I got more curious, and I'm like, hey, what else can I get? Or just something that's simple. What is it like to have something with momentary? And of course, having a 4D or a 2D mag light, you get momentary, but that's just too big to carry. So I wanted to go for something more momentary, and I found it through, let me get this in focus, the Claris P2A. It's a simple flashlight. It has absolutely no strobe. It just has the momentary low, and then the momentary high. You click it in, you're good. Click it off, and this was good. Of course, I'm missing the strobe. This clip, very tight. As you can see, this is how tight it is. I started making some scratches, but I was like, hey, that looks cool. Shows that I used it. And I have a couple more scratches here on the bezel because I was actually doing some testing with it. In the hand, feels good. It's very similar to the Cork AA, but it was a little longer, so I was like, oh, I could use this as, like a improvised weapon, just like this Cork AA. What I did notice about this one in the beam was the beam on the Cork was so bright and so wide. It was clean. It was very nice, but it had no throw. This thing at least has some throw, but it's not like the Cork. I see how they both have different advantages, but at this point, I was going for, instead of just a wide spill, I was looking for more throw, something that can reach across the street, if you will, and beyond that. So after purchasing this Claris P2A, I was like, okay, you know what? I really want my my strobe back. And this flashlight, I think I might give probably to a friend. who's actually been looking for one. Alright, so put these out of the way. And I was sticking with the brand Claris. I like their prices. I like the way things looked. And it was still AA. So I got this Claris XT1A. And what was awesome is that you don't have to turn this to get any modes. And that's what I wanted. It has, let me adjust here. It has a 2-button tail switch. You have a primary that just turns on. Right? Okay. And then, instead of switching through modes, it has a dedicated strobe, which is pretty awesome. So you can turn it on, and then this will also cycle down. So to me, this this light right here, you can barely see it, but this light right here, this is their lowest mode, and what I like about it is that it's very close to the moonlight mode. So the moonlight mode, I checked that out. That's awesome. As for the regular high mode, let me refocus here. Okay. As for the high mode, it claims to be 150 lumens. And you know what? It probably is. I don't have a meter. This is 130 lumens. But the funny thing is when I use this, the LD10 seems to be, has a more focused beam, and it's overall brighter. And it looks a lot better, even on the spill. For this XT1A, it just seems like it's probably right at about 130 lumens also. So I did more testing, put it up against a wall, and both throws, both of the throw and both lights are actually very good. This one is, and I can just eyeball it, that it is slightly brighter. And I was still unimpressed about that. 150 lumens, AA, you know, and my LD10 is, you know, it's hanging in there. So now I was like going in between both lights. Which one am I EDCing? So this is what it came down to. As I line up the pocket clips here, I'm going to line it up this way. This much is sticking out. Now this is actually a problem for me because when I reach down into my pocket, now I have to go around this and then go into my pocket. Pocket clip's alright. What I don't like is that it slides around, but it slides around too easy. This one, at least, you really have to put some force into it for this to move around. This much sticking out is actually less obtrusive than this much sticking out. So I thought that this was going to be the perfect light, and it's okay. It has everything I wanted here. 2 buttons for the different modes. It has the low mode. It's a AA, which is great. These are all AA flashlights. It's longer, which is okay because in the hand, then I can use it as an improvised weapon. The only complaint with this was that it's too. This is actually too short because I put this in my hand and I can't really. I mean, I guess I could stick it out a little bit more, but nothing. So it's like it's too short here. This one's actually perfect. Put that in hand, and this is sticking out. So now begins my dilemma. You know, I'm trying to stay into the affordable range of flashlights. You know, you look at all these other reviews of flashlights, and they're like hundreds of dollars, and the batteries are just, you know, off the charts. I like to stick with AA. So I'm between these two flashlights. I've been trying to EDC this and see if I can actually like this even more, but it just wants me to carry the Phoenix LD10. Now they do have another model. It's the LD12. I'm reading up on it. The only thing I didn't like about it was a side button. I don't know if I'll like it. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll like sell one of these flashlights and then just be over with it. Just stick with Phoenix. But I really like this dedicated button. So I'm in between. You know, what do you guys think between these two flashlights? Which one do you think is a better EDC? And then also opposed to that is for even the larger one, when you get a little bit more power, is which one do you think is better, the Cork or the Claris? I really think that the Cork is superior in a lot of ways, but when it comes to throw, and I don't know, people say that Cork has a throw light, that the Cork it throws pretty far. You know what? It doesn't. You know, I could be mistaken, but when I do my testing, I take hikes at 5 a.m. I bring these flashlights out, and I put these to the test, and this one actually throws a lot further. Actually, this Cork and this Phoenix, they throw about the same. I can't even tell the difference between these two at like 100 feet. I mean, there's just no way that they're different. The beam's a lot tighter on the LD10. This one, it's, you know, they always glorify of like how great the beam is on the Cork. And yeah, maybe for up close, but when you're trying to like look something and you're going on a hike, you know, maybe this is the wrong flashlight for it. What I have found out is these two have the same reach, but I really like the beam on the LD10 a lot better. However, this is technically brighter, and this one is actually perfect for hiking, actually. You know, I got this flashlight. It wasn't too expensive at all. I think I might replace all my mini mag lights with this, because I do have them around the house in the different cars. And hey, 245 lumens, can't beat that. And it's just simple on and off. You don't have to do anything else except the twist for the low. So that's about it for the double A's. Let me know what you guys think of these combinations. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some suggestions saying, oh hey, you should go with Nightcore, or I should go with Jet Beam. And I want to look into it. I want to see what you guys think. I was also looking at another brand. I think it's new. It's called Through Night, and they had some pretty good prices too. So that's my AA flashlights. Looking for the perfect one. Looking for one that I could just carry, and then I can have these flashlights assigned to different backpacks. If I don't find one, I'm just going to stick with probably the LD10. It's been tried and true. LD12 might be a better option because it does have that tail, the momentary action. Alright, so that's it.